Women of Reddit. What are the most obvious signals you've given off that guys have ignored? I went in for a kiss at the end of a date when I first started dating my ex. He backed away and totally rejected the kiss. I was pretty upset because I thought it had been a great date and he liked me. 20 minutes later he shows back up at my door and said he realized halfway home that I had been trying to kiss him. This made me chuckle pretty good. Props to him for being ballsy and showing back up. What did he think you were doing? Nose stabbing him? Last year, I was being very flirtatious with a guy at a party who had already expressed his interest in me. As we all started leaving, I asked him if he wanted a ride home. He said, but how would I get my car? And I said, don't worry. I'll drive you back here in the morning to come get it. Still got turned down and he ended up driving himself home. We are now dating though. So he finally did get the hint. I want you inside me, you mean? Like, spiritually? I invited him on a camping trip during the winter. The exact text message I sent read: we could camp and hike and bang and go spelunking. He said he checked with his work and ended up coming with me. Although I had to make all the moves. Later I asked him what went through his head when he saw the message. I thought you'd mistyped hang. This is a totally understandable thing, I think. What if you had misspelled? Would have been a way bigger duck up on his end. Was dancing with a dude at a club once and literally moved his hands to cup my breasts. He did nothing. 2 years later I was joking with him about the night I wanted to hook up with him and he wasn't interested and his eyes got all wide. He somehow thought I did that with all my friends. I'm not a woman. But one time a girl I knew asked me on AIM, this was a while ago, do you want to have sex? And my reply, with who? Did not hear from her again. It's with whom? No wonder she stopped talking to you. Whoa. Those seem like super obvious coming onto me signals. But what if they're not supposed to be? Guess I'll look at this stapler for a bit until she stops. I have been talking to this guy for a little while but thought he wasn't interested in me. Thanks to this thread I just texted him, in case he was just missing my signals. Specifically saying that I thought he seemed cool and I was interested in getting to know him better. Well, turns out he is interested too. Thanks Reddit. I learned a lesson today in being upfront with my feelings. I was in a bar talking to a girl. After about 10 minutes she says she's going to talk to her friends. A few female friends of mine came over and asked who the girl was. I explained I'd met her at a party about a year ago and she always talked to me whenever I saw her. They told me that they could tell she was into me. I was like, huh? I didn't realize. Went round the bar but she'd left. Said to the girls, next time they see me with someone who looks into me, get the message to me quicker. A couple of weeks later I'm in the same bar and I'm talking with a different girl. This girl goes to the bar and my friends rush over. That girl wants to duck you. One of them told me, no she doesn't. Trust us, she's way into you. I don't think so. We know these things. She want to get in your pants. She's my sister. Edit. Everyone is a little too into sibling SI times. She snuggled up to me at work. Told me my hoodie smelled really good. Asked me how she looked in just a bra and spandex booty shorts. Wanted to hang out every day. Finally one day it dawned on me and I moved in for a kiss. Dude, what are you doing? I have a boyfriend. Wait. What was the question? Edit. Fitting that my first gold would be for one of my many romantic misadventures. Now who wants to hear about the time I fell for a lesbian? This is the reason why all these other stories happened. I'm just looking for a bunch of posts in this thread with myself on the receiving end. And no girl has done any of these things to me. At all. I've always found stripes attractive. Stick a girl in a striped top and I dunno. I could put on a striped top for you. 3 ducking days later I realized. A girl once texted me saying, word for word, man, I miss SX. I wish I had someone to do it with and continued to say it for the next 4 days and all I said was you'll find the right guy someday. I wish I could time travel so I can go back and punch myself in the face. Edit. A lot of you guys are saying why not go back to her. I still talk to her and we still talk about topics like that. Pretty sure she has a guy she's seeing so can't really do anything unfortunately. I love how, rather than having sex with her, you wish you could time travel so you can go back and punch yourself in the face. Username checks out. There was a guy I used to get with at parties. I would always come onto him first, going looking for him etc. I would cancel plans just to go to a party if I knew he was there. I thought it was general knowledge in our friend group that I fancied him. But when my friend blurted it out he was really surprised, pleasantly though. On several occasions, we cuddled in his bed. I tried several versions of the kiss me look without success. Finally, while cuddled with him half on top of me, I finally made a joke about how I was going to make a shrieking cat noise until he found a way to make me stop. This was the point that he realized what I wanted. But being the curious guy that he is, he wanted to see how far I'd take it before giving in. 45 minutes of me making that sound he realized I was committed and caved. We're engaged now. Yes. I do realize that this was ridiculous. But technically, scientifically, this strategy has worked for me 100% of the time. I actually once just shoved my boobs in his face and he still didn't get the hint. He just told me I had nice tits. It wasn't until 3 days later he realized what he'd done. Try to imagine what happens to a guy if he grabs a woman's tits and it turns out she just has poor spatial awareness. A beautiful girl once asked me to rub her shoulders with sun cream. She was topless and we were alone. I have never seen such perfect boobs in my life. I knew that she wanted me to touch her boobs. And I have never been more tempted in my life. But I just rubbed her in with sun cream. Asked her if it was okay. And walked away. Only one thing echoed in my brain while walking. Coward. 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 I thought he was ignoring my signs. I was meeting up where he said he was going to drink with his friends. I was rubbing up against him and staring and giggling and texting. I kissed him a few times and he let me, but wasn't too enthusiastic. I even went home with him and laid down in his bed. For 2 years it puzzled me why that guy had been so oblivious. I found out years later that he knew I wanted the D. But he had a girlfriend. Instead of telling me so I would back off, he let me do it for like a month. Now they're engaged. Guy here. My best friend asked me if I wanted to go with her on a quick trip to visit a friend of hers. When we came back to her apartment it was pretty late and she said I could sleep at her place. There was an extra bedroom. As we enter her place she very casually said if I wanted to sleep with her in her bedroom. I said no and went to the other bedroom and fell asleep within minutes. We married a year later. The reason all this shit happens, especially with the guys I'm reading about here, is that at one point in their lives, some chick gave them what they thought were signals. They acted on it. And then got humiliatingly shut down. And they never forgot it. Guy. After an entire night of a girl leaning on me, putting hands on me and so on. Even escorting her to her bus stop where she again leaned on me closely. Nope. Ducking idiot. Was just thinking she is a bit drunk, maybe she is tired. Was completely oblivious even for the week after that. Even after she called me at 1 AM after a party asking to crash at my place. Okay. Sure. We have extra beds and all. She came over and I literally had her sleep on the couch while I went to sleep in my bed. Dumbass. Luckily, she had not given up on this idiot. Walked into my room, into my bed, saying she could not sleep on the couch. That's when I got it. It literally took a girl to invite herself over to my house and crawl in my bed after cock-blocking myself to realize she liked me. To state the obvious, I'm late to your party. I started talking to this guy at work. He had asked me out but he would be sure I knew he'd pay. And it would just be as friends. I didn't like the confusion of is this a date or not. So I declined saying as your friend. I can't let you pay. And I don't have the money. We often would tease and play, arguing over who could kick whose ass. So when we started hanging out at his house I would get him to roughhouse. Clearly winning due to him having to sit and relax a boner. It wasn't until 3-4 times of this that a friend of his explained to him that no girl comes over and wrestles with you if she doesn't like you. Bonus story. First kiss came as I was pinned to the couch. He looked at me hesitantly. Then kissed me quickly and pulled away. Paused again and said, well, you didn't smack me, so that's cool. That dumb boy is now my husband. I remember around the time my boyfriend and I started dating, I stripped all my clothes off and jumped into bed. He was on his phone. So to get his attention I pressed myself against him and kissed his neck. No reaction at all. Still on his phone. Okay. Maybe he isn't in the mood tonight. So I rolled over to go to sleep. 5 minutes later he puts the phone down and rubs my back. His little way of saying goodnight. You're naked. Rubs his hand down to my butt. Oh. You're really naked. I started laughing. What do you think I was trying to do earlier? He got that. No. Wait. I want SX. Look, and pulled out his best moves. Which absolutely worked. We've been dating a while now. I've come to understand he is completely clueless sometimes and to be more direct when I want his attention. He prefers the dirty talk anyway. 100% chance if I ignored my girlfriend for my phone there would be no SX had that night and probably the next. It's funny because now that I'm a married man I pick up on every little hint of interest and have to nope myself out of there. Held hands on a bed with a guy once for about an hour. Tilted my head towards him to see if he'd try and kiss me. Never happened. Convinced me that I should give up trying. At 13. I'm currently lying on my stomach. On his bed. Wearing nothing but a thong after we showered together. He's playing Witcher 3. I can't really complain though. I bought him the game and said yes to his proposal knowing he was like this. Edit. Paging you/2 I think you're being judged by all these people. Twitch. Edit 2. Thanks to you Sashiro86 for the gold. That guy is living the goddamn life. Guy here. Girl I was insanely into told me if I offered her SX she wouldn't be able to say no. I kind of just said okay and carried on with my business. This was about 10 years ago and I still get a fairly regular urge to punch myself in the face for my stupidity. Edit. Obligatory OMG, my top rated post is about my inability to recognize the most obvious signal comment. It's pretty appropriate. All things considered. Edit 2. I've just remembered another part of the story. Buckle up because if you thought I was dumb before you're going to wonder how I've managed to stay alive for nearly 30 years after this. When I was really drunk I drunk texted her professing my undying love for her. She replied saying she loved me too. Apparently that still wasn't clear enough for me. I deserve to be alone. Man, this is an impressively bad one. Edit. And it gets worse. Don't know whether to be proud or sad for you. Because both of those take some damn hard work to miss. I should really stop reading threads like this. It's not healthy. I once had a girl who would call me hot all the time. In my defense, to a teenager it seemed like joking. But looking back. And whenever I had a girlfriend would always tell me I could do better. This is also the girl who took it upon herself to make me the first person she showed her nipple piercings to. This is going to be way too low here. But I have to type it. Had a guy stay over a couple weeks ago. He kept saying he loves his skinny jeans. But they are so hot. I said probably 4 times, giggling, tugging at them. Then take them off. 4 times. Tip from every guy ever. We suck at taking subtle hints. I think the real problem is interpreting those hints. I find that I can pick up on them no problem. But figuring out if they're meant in a playful, friendly manner or a romantic sort of way is the real hurdle. It took me forever to get now hubby to realize I was interested in him. All the flirting, hints, everything did not work. I had to just blatantly say, "Hey, I dig you," in more than a friendship way for him to get it. Just come out and say it. Ladies. Just come out and say it. Ladies. Yes. Please, please, please. Subtle hints do not work on guys. Guys hate making the first move because we get rejected 9 times out of 10. As a dude, can go both ways. So when I was single, I was talking to a girl we'll call Kat. She was single. Talking about how much she hated her ex. How I was such a nice guy. She wished we could just go out and date. She looks me dead in the eyes and says, "I wish I could just kiss someone right now." Obviously, I went in for the kiss. She acted completely confused and wanted to know why I tried. I thought it was a pretty definite hint. The girl I'm dating now, I brought out to the ranch. To stargaze. Nothing else. We're waiting for it to get dark. Watching a movie and it's about a particularly dense guy who isn't picking up on a lady's hints. She turns to me and says sometimes guys just can't take the hint when they should make the first move. After a second, I go for the kiss. She kissed back. It was all good. But she constantly tells that story and stresses the fact that she didn't mean it as a hint. I'm the most oblivious guy in the world. A girl could be getting naked in front of me and telling me she wonders what sex feels like and I still wouldn't get the hint. I've had girls ask me out before. And I didn't realize it. Then when I'm talking to their friends and I mention how hot they are or whatever, their friends ask, "Well, why didn't you say yes when she asked you out?" It's just sad. This is how a girl thinks she asks out a guy. I love Hugh Jackman. Apparently that means, "Hey, do you want to go see Wolverine with me and have dinner by the pier after?" Girl laid in bed with me and kept talking about how cold she was. Didn't even try to snuggle her. In my defense, I knew what she was doing, but was just high as a ducking kite. Laid and cuddled all night numerous times in bed with a girl. I was totally into her. Later on, during her "I'm not into you" talk, she said this one. Did doing that, cuddling in bed a bunch, send you the wrong message? I'm a dude, but one time I was at the movies with this girl I really liked and we both already established that we like each other in a more than friends kind of way. So I throw my arm around her and she snuggles up to my neck. About halfway through the movie she looks up at me and obviously wanted me to kiss her, but my 16-year-old brain could only manage to utter "What's up?" Full stop. We never did hang out much after that. I'm fairly certain she thought I was slow. I once yelled in a guy's face as I gripped a pool cue in a way that suggested he was going to be impaled. That if he didn't step the duck away from me, he was going to regret it. Bro still stayed up in my face. Felt like that was a pretty obvious signal. But it took the bouncer and the cops to explain it to him. You definitely went a different route with this thread. I appreciate the diversity. I was the president of a club at my local community college. One day I had to give a speech and was thanking individual members for all their help with a fundraiser. I mentioned the guy I had a crush on, my now boyfriend, by name as someone I was thanking, and he replied he didn't do anything special. In front of the entire club I said, "You're special in my heart." To this day he laughs about it and says he had no idea I was interested in him. Everyone was settling in the lounge after a party of mine and I told my now boyfriend he could sleep in my bed. He slept on top of the covers and didn't come near me because he thought I was just being nice. He didn't want to assume a polite invite to sleep in a bed is permission for sex. He was just being a gentleman. Give him a break. I kissed him on the cheek while we were watching a movie. He did absolutely nothing. Like a frozen statue. I had to say, "I just kissed you. Aren't you going to react?" Before he finally turned and attacked me. Honey badgers don't make the best boyfriends. She put her head on my shoulder during a movie date. I was not entirely sure it was a date, and rather than wrap my arm around her, I pat her head. Because obviously that's what you do when a girl puts her head on your shoulder. Ducking idiot. Asked him to duck me and he sat on the computer and played Skyrim. I then packed my shitty. Went home and he texted me saying, "You really want to duck me?" He lost his chance though. Wanna duck? What? I'm killing Aldo and hold on. 10 minutes later. What was it you said? Was drunk in a bar. Girl grabbed my hand and pulled me to her table. Said, "Hey, what's up?" I stared silently for a solid minute, then walked back to mine before I realized what was going on. In my defense, it was my second language and I was drunk. I'd hate to be the one to say this, but it's easier to pretend to be stupid than to let on to a woman we're not interested. I was taught this by a wise elder after an incident where I turned away a girl because I didn't like her and she had a fit. It's better to be oblivious to a woman we don't want to get with than to be honest because they don't take well to the truth and don't fault us for being stupid. This is just awesome. I come here hoping for a secret handshake. A double tap or something I could have missed. But no. It's basically. And then she pulled her vagina over my head so I had to breathe through the butthole. And I had no idea. Duck, you guys. You just made me realize no one has given me any signals. Ever. I'll signal myself when I get home as a reward for my upcoming vacation. Not a girl. But one once told me her hands were freezing in March. I said I probably have some gloves in my car, but she was about to leave anyway so she would probably be fine. I figured it out later that week. Edit. Yes. She confirmed it was actually a signal. I'd like to have sex with you. Okay. Maybe it's my face that's too disgusting. We can do it from behind. I was literally half naked in bed with a guy and nothing happened. I brought it up a few days later because I was a bit hurt. And he says, "Oh. Wait, you wanted to have sex? Really?" Yep, I could see myself doing that, thinking, oh, she's just getting comfortable for bed. I'm a dude. But the girl is dead now, so I'll tell the story for her. Years ago, a girl I was dating was sitting on the couch with her ex-girlfriend. They told me a story of when the two of them made out on a guy's lap and he couldn't get it up. Then asked me if I thought I could have gotten it up. I said probably. And went back to what I was doing. It took me a couple of years to figure out my mistake. Edit. Ducking, of course this becomes my most upvoted comment. Dude. You should come and see me this weekend. I will be at my parents' place while they are on vacation. I'm on the pill. Only months later did I hear this and understand what she was getting at. Duckin' thick. I am.